Welcome back, everybody, to the Triad of the Forest podcast, a podcast from Puerto Rican friends coming together to do deep dives into Star Wars and other nerd-related media. These are Bad Batch Fridays. We know the title's stupid, but we don't care.
Yeah, we're not creative like other people
Not at all.
in this group
Like
right now.
somebody joining us.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, we are very excited to be talking about the season premiere of the third and final season of The Bad Batch, episodes 1, 2, and 3. And we are very excited to be joined in this conversation by our good friend Mollie Damon from Star Wars Explained. Welcome back to the
Hi,
trial,
Mollie.
Hi. Thanks for having me.
It's great. No, last time we had you on the show, it was also for a season premiere. I think it was for Mando. It was a great time. I haven't seen you since Dragon Con. So it's been a minute. Back in our little boxes. So
yeah,
it's not
to say.
It's not the same.
It's not the same.
Mm-mm,
It's not.
No.
But but it's fine. At least we can get together. How's it going? We've seen that there's lots of changes that are going on Star Wars Explained. So how's 2024 treating you so far?
It's been good so far. For a while there, we weren't sure when we were getting what show and where and how.
Right.
And
Mhm.
so once we got the date for Bad Batch, I was like, a huge sigh of relief
Hmm.
so that we could start planning for that. But
Yeah.
no, 2024 has been good so far. Yeah, I've been trying to upgrade a lot of stuff for the channel. I'm upgrading my editing skills a little bit, so
Oh,
that's been
we've noticed.
fun.
We've noticed.
It's all been really fun so far this year. We've been changing up our background a lot, and yeah, it's been a fun new year so far.
Great, and
Awesome.
it's definitely seen all the changes slash improvements that the channel
Mm,
has had. So
Thank you.
that's really really cool. Uh, So yeah, like excited. It's been that it's definitely been a year for like I feel we're still in February, end of February's almost over, and I feel that we're
Yeah.
6 months into 2024, and it's only
Right.
been 2 months, so I feel like a
Yeah.
freight train has ran into me. I feel worse than a Dragon Con hangover.
Oh
And
no.
so yeah, yeah.
Oh.
On the positive end, at least we have the Bad Batch, which has been a we've only seen 3 episodes. We know that you've been privy to see a little bit more, so we'll get into that when we do. But
Zip my lips on that.
it's very interesting to feel so good about the Bad Batch coming back, even though these 3 episodes were anything but an
Yeah.
upper.
Yeah, it was grim.
Yes,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but it still feels good to have Star Wars back.
I know, and good Star Wars. That was good.
And good Star Wars.
Mhm.
It's just like
Yeah.
Lucasfilm Animation don't miss except on Resistance. But
Oh. What do you
We're
have
not
against
biased at all.
Resistance?
we're a positive channel here. It's
That's
fine.
a whole other video.
I'm not the target audience for
Sure.
Resistance. It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's okay.
You don't have to love everything.
I don't have
Yeah.
to love it, and it's fine. It's fine.
Mhm.
It's okay. But before we get going with Bad Batch, some news, and we don't know if it's real news because if it doesn't come out of Lucasfilm, we can't say that it's a real.
Mm.
But I think Collider informed this week that allegedly the Acolyte, the show that we're most excited for, that's coming out this year, is allegedly coming out on June 5th, which
Mhm.
is horrible timing, selfishly, I might say, for myself for this premiere. But other than that, but cool, right? We got Acolyte in the summer. Molly, how do you feel about High Republic, Acolyte, and like everything that comes with this? This is a show that you're looking forward to.
Oh, I'm so psyched for this show to come out. I would love a June drop date for this. I know Bad Batch is ending around May 4th, and we were
Hmm.
thinking maybe we
Mhm.
would get an announcement right at the end of Bad Batch to see when the
Right.
next show was coming. And a lot of people were speculating that Acolyte would be the big summer hit
Okay.
show for
Mhm.
Star Wars. So this isn't surprising news to me. I hope it's true, and
Yeah.
I am very excited for High Republic. I love all the High Republic books. I haven't read all of them. I'm not Alex. I don't read every single thing that comes out, but I've read most of them, and it's It's been such a breath of fresh air for Star
Yeah,
Wars.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Uh, I also don't read all of them. I read as slow enough as it is. So I do just the YA and adult
Mhm.
novels and the main High Republic run. I ain't got time for the Young Jedi Adventures, even though I've seen some of those episodes and they're fun. Or what's the other comic that DJO does? Uh, Whatever. Those,
Yeah.
I don't have
I
time for
don't
those.
I don't follow all the comics, but
It's too
some
much.
of
It's
them.
too much. It's too
Yeah,
much.
it's a
It's a
lot.
lot.
Uh,
It's a lot.
Hmm.
I just want Nani to see the trailer. I I
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because I didn't get to go to Celebration, so.
Mm.
I've been so tempted to send you the bootleg version of it, but it's just wait, we don't support bootlegs on this channel anyway.
Yeah,
I'll
and
be
it's
honest,
worth it to watch it HD.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
So
oh yeah.
I'll be honest though, I've watched the bootleg a couple of
Uh,
times
Too
yeah,
many
it's because
more
it's so exciting
more
just to
more
remind
more
myself,
times than it's
of how
probably
awesome
helping.
it's gonna be.
Yeah.
The ending. It's all about the end. I mean, the whole thing is awesome. That's the ending.
Mhm.
I said it a million times, and I'll say it a million more. When the ending of that trailer was about to start, and all the and that thing is happening, I'm like, are they gonna do the thing?
Are they gonna
And
do
then
the thing?
and then they do the thing, and
And
I'm
then
just
they
like,
did the thing.
oh my god, Jesus Christ. But anyway, that's the acolyte. That's still a couple months away. It's fine. We can wait. We waited enough, and it'll be great. It'll be great. Hopefully, Bob Iger doesn't cancel it because he is cutting back on DEI apparently. So we'll see what happens.
We
But for
will
now,
riot in the streets if Bob
Oh yeah,
Iger cancels The Acolyte.
the acolyte.
no more Disney Plus subscription.
Mm-mm.
You can take Willow from us, but you cannot take DEI or Jedi, I guess.
At least show it to us first, and then if you wanna take it, fine. Like, that's what they did with Willow, so
Or let us know that you are going to take it off so we can just record it. Just get some Blu-rays, record that, and then
Mhm.
maybe sell it on Etsy or something.
Right.
But Bad Batch, the Bad Bitch, I guess that was a bad New Zealand
Hey,
accent. I'm sorry.
bitch.
Bad Bitch.
Hey, bitch.
It's back.
Terrible.
It's
I'm
back, and
terrible at accents. Yeah,
it's good. Like it's good.
yeah,
Uh, Coming into season 3, though, there's obviously all the baggage from season 1, season 2. So, kind of as a recap, not of what happened, but of how you guys have felt. And I start with you. Like, how did you feel about Bad Batch when it started versus season 2? And what's has been your level of excitement now going into the final season?
yeah. So as has been famously stated in this podcast over and over again, I wasn't originally a fan of the animated stuff. I hadn't even watched it until we started doing the podcast, and then eventually fell in love with Clone Wars and Rebels and all of it. So by the time we got to the Bad Batch, I was in love with the style of animation and with the story and everything, and it just felt like such a natural continuation of the Clone Wars story. And then from the perspective of these troopers that are more like a family, and all their hijinks, and kind of trying to race this girl, and them not knowing like what they already had, like their group dynamics all set, and then she comes in, like destroys that dynamic, and they have to like fight their footing. So it's such a great found family story that I really loved it from the beginning. And at first it seemed a little bit more like a week to week kind of thing, more episodic. It wasn't necessarily like a whole broad thing that was happening. But then we got season 2, and we got so much character development from all of the members of the batch. And then we obviously lost Tech, which to me was so devastating
My
because
boy Tech.
R.I.P.
I fell in love so much with
No one's
that
ever really
character.
gone.
And I know, but still, it was really heartbreaking, especially because originally it was so hunter focused, I feel like,
Hmm.
and starting with season 2, we started getting to really know the other members so much. And then the last season ended on such a sad note that we knew it was going to start
Hmm.
pretty grim, but it was still kind of jarring, especially that first episode, Confined, that it's all like really imperial. Like you can see her looking outside that window, and it's like such a lush, beautiful planet,
Hmm.
and she's just like stuck in gray. Just really sad to see, kind of, Crosshair completely losing hope and be like, just leave me alone, forget about me. So it was really grim, but it was so well done, and I thought it was a really good decision for them to do those 3 episodes, because then by the time we get to Shadow of Tantiss, we end like on a higher note. So I
Mhm.
think all in all, it's a really good start to a season.
Mhm.
I remember by the time we ended the 3 episodes, I was like, that was good Star Wars, and that's a really great way to start a season. So
Yeah, one thing that I wanted to like just piggyback on that was back in season 2 when it ended and Mount Tantis was
mhm.
reintroduced, I guess.
Yeah.
Everyone that pretended that they knew what Mount Tantis was, you I know you were pretending. I knew you were. You Wikipedia'd it just like I did. We all read Heir to the Empire. No one remembered. Okay, stop pretending. It's
Mm,
okay to not know.
yeah.
Just saying. Let's not open old wounds. Uh, it's fine. It's fine. Molly, how about you?
I from the beginning, I was kind of the same, feeling a little bit the same about animation. I loved Rebels. I was never that attached to the clones because I didn't grow up watching Clone Wars. I watched
Mhm,
that well into adulthood, and
Okay.
so
Yeah.
I was kind of like, eh, I'm sure it'll be fine. Like Clone Wars was fine. It had some really high highs and some low lows, so I just
mhm,
Yeah.
expected the same from Bad Batch. But somewhere between season 1 and season 2, I was like, wow, the writing in this show and just the way that they are showing us these character relationships, it is like some of the best Star Wars content out there.
mhm,
Like some of it is better than, some of the live action shows in my opinion. So
mhm,
I started really, really digging it in season 2. Same like
Yeah.
when we started to learn a little bit more about each member of the Bad Batch, and then Crosshair's storyline was just so
Yeah.
interesting, and
mhm,
Yeah.
they were not afraid to just really go there with
Mhm.
his story of, like, being like when we find out he doesn't have the chip in his head and he's still working with
So
the
yeah.
Empire, everybody was like, "Oh my god,
Yeah.
that's so dark."
I know.
yeah.
And just like devastating, honestly, when you first
Yeah.
find out, it's like, what?
Yeah, and getting into season 3 has been so good. You're right. The first 3 episodes work so well together. It
Mhm,
sets you up to really understand and get a grasp of what Omega has been through. The time I love the time jump of her at Mount Tantis, of
mhm,
just, like,
mhm.
putting
Yeah.
the notches in the wall, and
Yeah, so good. Yeah.
she starts out with Emery kind of having to show her what to do, and then once the time jump happens, she just kinda gets up, and it's, like, routine at that point.
Yeah. It's
She's
like, okay, it's
Like all
just
of us
just
another
going to work.
day.
Yeah, it's
yeah,
just
Yep.
she's just going through the motions, and, it's so good. I loved everything about it. The music this season so far is
mhm,
so,
Oh
so, so
yeah.
good. The Kiners
mhm.
always knock it out of the park.
Which
Yep.
credit to Lucasfilm for finally giving credit to all 3 of the Kiners,
Yeah, the
not
whole
just
family's
Kevin.
there.
So, especially Deanna, Deanna
Mhm,
Kiner,
yeah,
big shout out. So that was really cool to see.
yeah. So I'm loving it so far. The first 3 episodes were so well put together,
Yeah.
and it does really leave you feeling hope.
Yeah.
We were kind of like Crosshair, where we're starting out
Mhm.
kind of depressed, and then by the 3rd episode, you have a little bit more hope, like he does.
Yeah.
So it was really nice.
Yeah, it's actually very interesting because I feel this is like the MO of Lucasfilm Animation at this point. It's just
Mhm.
like we're gonna give you a first season that's a little like I don't want to say mid, but for lack of a better word, kind of mid, and then that's the bait and switch, and it's like, aha, no, this is gonna be brutal. It's gonna be emotionally devastating.
Mhm.
Guard your
It's been
heart.
yeah, and I think that they do such a good job with it because same thing. Clone Wars was kind of like the same thing. It starts and it's a little on the goofy side of okay, maybe it's not goofy, but it doubles down on like being a super dark treatise of war and what
Mhm.
soldiers have to go through and all of these things. And by the end of it, it's just like killing people left and right. And I was like, this is not a kids show. This is
Yeah.
Right.
Saving Private Ryan. All you are missing is just blood and guts, basically.
Uh-huh.
And Rebels did the same thing. The first season, Ezra is insufferable and just like very child's animation. I mean, which is the target audience, right?
Yeah.
But by the time you get to season 2 and 3 and ultimately 4, it just grows into something that's just completely different. So mature, and I don't like to use the word mature because like Pixar films are for kids, but they're also very mature
Mhm.
storytelling. So use that cautiously, I guess. and Bad Batch was definitely the same thing. I don't feel like I was invested in the show when it started. 'Cause
Mhm.
I'm very cynical with backdoor pilots. Because the minute like Bad Batch shows up in the final season of the Clone Wars, I'm like, okay, well, here's a spin-off show, I guess. Just
Mhm.
like when Ahsoka shows
Yeah.
up in Mandalorian, it's like, okay, backdoor pilot, here we go. So at that point, it's like, well, we'll see. It's Star Wars, so I'll watch it. Uh, but it definitely season two kicked some ass,
Yeah.
especially the second half. Because I agree with you, Nine. Like when Bad Batch was being episodic, I don't feel like I was as invested in it
Yeah.
because not to say that they were bad episodes, they're great
Right.
too, but the standalone aspect of those episodes kind of made me feel like I'm in a bottleneck of sorts. And I was like, okay, well, whatever. There's no investment
Yeah.
emotionally from me because like there's
Yeah.
no larger arc. But once they started like doing that in season two, I'm just like, oh, okay, here we
Mhm.
go.
I get you.
So,
I know what
uh,
you're doing.
yeah,
Yeah.
like I see. Oh, Filoni say it's not Filoni, it's Brett Rao and like the rest of the team. I just say,
Jennifer
listen,
Corbett.
thank you.
Yay. She's doing
uh,
a fantastic job.
so hopefully does a lot more. So because
Yeah.
we want to see a lot more Lucasfilm animation. Uh, which I hope they tease us with something at the end of Bad Batch, but we'll have to wait and see
Yeah.
for that. But yeah, season three has just hit on all cylinders. It's just dark,
Yeah.
it's gloomy, there's no hope, but there's always hope because it's Star Wars.
Yeah.
And we got a new dog.
Yay!
What's his name?
Badger.
Batcher,
Gotcha.
Betcha,
Betcha.
Betcha. So
Oh,
good. Hemlock is evil as always. Emery, I think is her name. What's her deal? Nala say is good as dead. She's dead. Episode 4 probably. Uh, it's so good. Like there's so many deaths left and right. Papa
Glorious,
Palpatine.
glorious Palpatine. Yeah.
Papa
mm.
Palpatine. Can't get enough of Ian McDermott. We got Snoke in a vat somewhere, melting probably.
Yeah.
It's so good. Or it's Moff Gideon. Maybe Moff Gideon's in one of those vats. Who knows?
Yeah.
That's gonna be the plot twist of the Mando movie. Moff Gideon was Palpatine all along.
Oh no.
Somehow Palpatine returned always. So so yeah, hitting on all cylinders. So just this is me being silly, obviously, but 3 episodes. What the hell were the names? Confined, Paths Unknown, and Shadows of Tantiss. And I think one of the great things that work with it is the reason why Last Jedi, Empire Strikes Back, and all these like middle films work a lot is when you separate characters and you have
Mhm.
to see
Yeah.
them kind of go through their own journeys, especially
Yeah.
journeys that are still relate to what the other characters are kind of going through. To then have that cathartic moment of them coming together, which I'm going to call it now. It's episode 6, which I thought it was going to be a completely different episode. But based on this, I was like, that's okay. I totally
That's
misread
where it
that.
happens.
Blink twice if I'm
Mm.
right.
Mm.
Anyway,
Goose, no.
this channel is not affiliated with Lucasfilm or Disney or any of those subsidiaries, so it's fine. Uh, so yeah, Nani, any initial reactions that like you had while watching like Confined that met like this season's gonna be something completely different from what we've seen?
Yeah, I agree with Molly. That time skip, like we knew from the trailers that it was coming, but I wasn't necessarily expecting it to come
Hmm.
so
Hmm.
soon. So I love that we just like hit the ground running and we're not like there's no filler. It's just like straight to the story. It drags you in right away. And then what you also said, Molly, about like the ticking down the days on the wall, and it
Hmm.
it just felt like the whole episode was kind of about time
Hmm.
because
Hmm.
there's also like the drops of water in the sink and then the vials of blood like as they turn around. So it's all of this making you feel even more confined.
Hmm.
So and to see it from the point of view um of Crosshair, who at this point has lost all hope and it's just like just let me die, just think about yourself, don't worry about it. And then Omega, who even though it's become everything has become so repetitive and mundane and just it would that kind of just horrible life of no new expectations would wear on anybody, and how she
Hmm.
never lost hope. And the whole time she's planning and she goes over to Crosshair and has conversations with him regardless of if he wants to listen to her or not. And it shows such joy in the character of
Hmm.
Omega, and especially to see her doing so much things on her own, because one of the things that was bugging me in the past was like even when they started to acknowledge her as an older person, as a member of the batch, they were still super overprotective. So it was
Mhm.
really good to see her shine on her own.
Mhm.
And not just that, but see like all the different qualities of all the different members of the batch be reflected in her. Because
Yeah.
Yeah.
she, she has all the
Hmm.
knowledge that Tech gave her of flying the ships and knowing all the plans. She's, she's the mother hen, just like Hunter is like the Papa Bear of the group. She's also
Yeah.
random like Wrecker is. So to kind of see like all the abilities
Yeah.
of the batch, distilled into her, it's kind of cool. But I think the coolest thing about Omega this season, new haircut.
New
Yeah.
haircut. The
The
low
haircut is
pony.
fantastic.
I was like,
Really working.
yeah, I was like,
It
yeah,
is.
girl. It's like,
She's rocking it.
it is. It is. Molly, how did the first episode make you feel? Do you feel it dragged? Because one thing that I feel that some people have been saying on the socials, God damn it, is that these episodes have been like Andor, for better or worse. I say better because I love Andor, but a lot of the criticisms that some media illiterate people, and if you were one of them, it's a joke. I care for you. You can like whatever you want. People that don't like Andor is that it's too slow and too methodical and takes its time too much. And in a way, the first episode of Bad Batch was very much that way. It was kind of like an Arcana 5 episode, right?
Mhm.
Uh, how did you get those vibes? Did you enjoy those vibes? How is this new Bad Batch atmosphere working for you?
I love it.
Yeah.
I loved Andor too, and I love how it does take its time with things, and we don't get that very often with
Mhm,
the animated shows, and so it was really nice to see them starting it off in that way. And because of the subject matter, it's supposed to be showing you like how sad and depressing this whole situation is, yet
Yeah.
Omega still clings on to hope, and she's
Yeah.
not going to give up on Crosshair or Thatcher or getting out of this place.
Yeah.
So I loved all of the like almost like metronome ticking, the
mhm,
water
Yeah.
droplets, the
Hmm.
clock like blood sample thingy, and
mhm, mhm,
the music too had a lot of moments where it was just a very like metronome sounding tones, and it just got you into that mindset of she's doing the same shit every single
Every
day.
day. Yeah.
mhm. No, yeah,
And
the drudgery of
the
work.
drudgery, yeah, and it's just like, oh my god, like she never gives up hope, and she keeps looking out that window, she keeps talking to Crosshair, even though Crosshair is like,
Hmm.
I belong in here, and she's like,
Mhm,
none
Yeah.
of us belong in here,
Yeah.
so yeah, I loved how the vibes started out with this first episode. It was a really kind of quiet
mhm.
episode, but those are the ones that I really
Yeah,
like
yeah.
pay more attention to. So I didn't think it was slow at all.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Oh, and her
it's
making
about the
her
character
doll from
study.
hay.
Yeah, the Lula.
That broke.
Yeah.
They got two
That
Lulas now.
broke
Yeah.
my heart. You see her so painstakingly, and then going to sleep with her doll. Oh,
Yeah. I thought she was gonna be making like a rope or something at first,
I thought so too. Actually, yeah.
and
Because and you see her like at the window with it, and I was like, oh, she's trying to escape already. Awesome. It's
yeah.
like, no, she just wants some comfort.
Ugh, my heart just like
I know.
sank in that moment
I
for
know.
her. I was
I
so
know.
sad, and then when Emery takes it away, I was like,
Mhm.
"You,
You,
mm,
yeah.
Yeah.
mm."
You're not
Mm.
my sister anymore. You're the
Yeah.
you're the opposite of sister.
Emery's
Uh,
a really interesting character because
mhm,
I feel like she represents a cautionary tale of what life would have been for Omega if she had just
Yeah.
kept her head down and
Yeah.
kept working for Nalase and then working for the Empire, and
mhm.
Yeah.
it's
Never meeting the Bad Batch, and yeah.
never meeting the batch,
Hmm.
just, doing what she's told. It does
Hmm.
feel very much like a cautionary tale, but I also think I think there's something with Emery. She ends up
Mhm.
giving her doll back, thank
Exactly.
God.
Right.
Yep. Yep.
Hmm.
She's not a total monster. But we saw Emery, you know, try to connect a little bit with Crosshair in season 2,
Mhm.
and now giving the doll back in season 3 with Omega. I think she's gonna make a turn at some point for the better, hopefully. I wanna
Quick
see her do good.
quick
Yeah.
vote. when because Star Wars has a pretty bad record on how they reward people that see the light. So
Mm.
quick
Yeah.
vote: does she die? Um,
Oh,
I think
yeah.
she did. I think she did.
I hope
Redemption
not.
arc, death. Yeah, yeah.
I
Thank you,
hope
Star Wars, for that. Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard a couple people have theories that maybe she joins the batch.
Mm.
Like
And then
not that
immediately gets killed.
not that anyone could ever replace Tech, but she has a
Kind
lot
of
of the
that role.
same
Yeah.
qualities that Tech has,
Hmm.
kind of a smarty pants. So some
Oh,
people are like, maybe she replaces Tech,
she wears glasses.
and she has goggles.
Yep.
Oh,
I
okay.
don't
Maybe she does.
know.
Maybe she lives. Maybe she lives. Okay, I
She
dig it.
she needs to do the work to redeem
Yeah, yeah.
herself,
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
and then we'll see if she's even allowed to join the batch.
Yeah.
I,
Especially after she
still,
ratted on Omega at the end and almost got her
Yeah,
caught,
yeah,
so.
but what? To be fair, okay, let's play devil's advocate with that moment. She was only doing it because she thought it was in her best interest.
True.
sure,
She
yeah,
wasn't doing it to, like, oh shit, I gotta tell on you. She's like,
Yeah.
you
To
kind of
like
maybe
punish
want to
her,
be
but it
here.
wasn't that. Yeah.
Because remember,
yeah,
Hemlock's already brainwashing everybody about how dangerous it is out there and how everything's out there to kill you, even though everything that's out there like is gonna kill you has been engineered by the Empire to kill you. So
mm,
it's not as if the outside of Tantus is what's the danger. It's still the Empire that's gonna get
Yeah.
you. So
right,
it's a interesting balance, which I think is one of the great things of the design of Mount Tantus too. Is the corruption of nature by the Empire, which is the thing that they always do. Is just take the natural and just destroy it for like these mechanical evil ways, which I think is great. And even though no one remembered that Tantus was an heir to the Empire, myself included, now we do.
I
Now we
well,
agree.
do.
that's a good segue to the second episode, how the Empire just takes nature
Yeah.
and messes with it to the point of no
Mhm.
return.
Yeah.
Which a great episode because it reminded me of so many other movies
Mm,
that I grew up watching. Uh, Jurassic Park, especially it reminded me a lot of Jurassic Park 3. Because
yeah,
the little kid stuck in Isla Sorna or whatever the hell the name of that island was has to survive eating Butterfingers or whatever the hell it was from the vending machine. Got Alien slash Aliens,
Yeah.
all these different sort of Rambo, Predator, all these different survival
Some
movies.
Indiana Jonesy.
So yeah, so
hmm,
Yeah.
it was a great action
Hmm.
episode. Well, actually, it wasn't an action episode. It was kind of like a horror thriller
yeah,
episode,
Hmm.
which saw the return of Daniel Logan as not Boba Fett, but as
as a
Younger
reg,
clones.
reg number 3. Well, he had a name. It was I forget
it's
what his name was.
one of them.
Yeah.
It's not it's we're not doing Star Wars trivia Dragon Con. It's fine. We don't need to remember that. And I apologize to the person I hit with the prosecco cork. I It was not my fault. It was my fault. I shouldn't have taken off the.
They're gonna make you check the prosecco at the door next
They
time.
will, they will. But also they did follow me on Twitter the next day.
Oh, okay, good.
So there we go. But yeah, Nani, what did you think of the Predator episode? What the hell was it called? Paths Unknown.
Yeah, Predator, and yeah, I also got a lot of like Lord of the Flies, vibes out of
Mhm,
it too, and again with the comparisons with Andor, because it felt very much like what happened
mhm.
at Andor at the planet where he grew up, where it was
Casa. Yeah.
Yeah,
completely corrupted by the
Canary.
Empire.
Mhm.
Yeah, and I think it's so cool to see that the Empire, it wasn't just what we saw in the films. There were all these atrocities happening in other planets that we were never privy to, and now we're finding out, kind of the extent of
Yeah.
everything that happened.
Hmm.
And I thought it was really cool to see, these younger regs who never really got to be soldiers because, the war was already over and then they were abandoned, and they have less of a place to belong than the Bad Batch. And to
Right.
see, you know, two people that resemble the ones that abandoned them,
Mhm.
to
Mhm.
have such camaraderie and to be able to fight for each other, to the point that they've lived for years, just surviving, and now suddenly they actually want to come back into the fray and help people even without knowing that they're risking their lives and knowing that they're technically not getting anything out of it. And then by the end of the episode, kind of like being able to get a break. Like when they tell them we have a place where you can live and find a home and you
Mm,
can find, well, we'll see what happens
but
with
that's
that.
gonna.
But
I saw the trailer.
Oh, Pabu. Pabu
Uh,
is
I
not safe for
know,
long.
I
nothing.
know,
No good
which
can
is,
last in Star Wars.
yeah, which is so sad. But it was so nice because the Bad Batch has been trying to figure out this whole time how to be more than just soldiers. But
Hmm.
since their mission isn't really over, they haven't completely finished being soldiers ever. Now they're mercenaries or whatever it is that they are. But these kids, them having to tell these kids, now you have to figure out how to not be a soldier and be something else and find a new path. So I thought it was very kind of reflective of the journey that the Bad Batch has been on so far, just through these younger versions of Regs, and I thought it was really nice.
Yeah, it's like they kind of come full circle. We
Yeah,
spent like the whole first season or so with them trying to grasp the idea of not being a soldier. What are we
right.
supposed to do if we're not that? And to see
Hmm.
them now giving this advice to these young regs of like,
Mm.
you can do anything you want with your
Yeah.
life. You don't you're not a soldier, then that's
Hmm.
okay. And yeah, it's progress. We love progress.
I know.
Yeah, yeah, we do. But let them live.
Yeah.
Because I think that's the cool thing that the show has done with the clones. Because if you only look at the movies, the clones are just clones. They're just a disposable army, just as
Yeah.
disposable as the droids. But I think the nuance that started with Clone Wars and that the Bad Batch is really hammering is that aspect of kind of not just individuality, but also the mirror because they're literally you're seeing yourself. It's not
Mhm.
just the hypothetical walk in someone else's shoes type of thing. It's just like no, you are that person. But so
Yeah.
you can like see their journey because it could have been your journey because you are the same person, but you're not at the same time. So I really like that duality that the show gives you, especially because it's not just one person to one person in the same moment in their lives. It's at those different times just with this
Yeah.
episode with them as kids and them as adults and then being able to see each other still. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, I could have been you, or
Yeah.
that's both ways between youth and older age because the Bad Batch is not that old, let's face it. But yeah, I guess war ages you quicker, not just
Yeah.
aging can be known technology. So that's kind of a cool thing, especially because since they are separated from Omega, it's that way to bring back the whole wrecker, hunter, protector, uncle relationship with
Yeah.
Omega, but
Yeah.
without her. Just like, oh,
Right.
this is a way that we're growing that relationship without actually having to have her as a character there, which I think furthers their journey because it's like, oh, you can have that relationship through other people as well, not
Mhm.
just
Yeah.
within your whole nuclear family. So whole found family stuff that I thought was really great, and especially because you're mixing it in with some nice monster horror stuff with the vines
Yeah.
that reminded me from Jumanji. I'm just like, oh, are we in Jumanji with the vines? Is Robin Williams gonna pop out all of a sudden with a loincloth or something and yell? I don't know. It was great. It was great. I loved it. And the
The
face huggers, we got
the little ones, oh,
yeah.
I was like not okay with those. I was like, "Oh my god, they're just legs and teeth," and I hate that.
Yeah, they were
That's
super creepy. Yeah.
nightmare fuel.
They were clearly inspired by Alien, but I'm glad that
Mhm.
they toned down some of the innuendo that the
Yeah.
alien face huggers have. Not for
Yeah.
kids, let's put it that way.
Yeah.
I did like the end though. Spoiler alert, obviously, when they're escaping and then the giant butthole tries to eat them. The water sarlacc.
Yeah.
It gave me Fellowship of the Ring vibes when the giant octopus is trying to take all the fellowship from entering Moria. But it
Yeah.
mostly reminded me. I don't know if you guys played Shadows of the Empire when you were young
Mhm.
whippersnappers, but it reminded me of Shadows of the Empire and Caesar's. How the hell you
Shizor.
say Caesar? Okay, because
That's how I say it.
I never knew how to say it, so I would just read it in Spanish and I would just say Sixor. So Caesar. Okay, thank you. It's just
Yeah.
like I used to think that Aeropostale was pronounced. This is so embarrassing. I thought Aeropostale was pronounced Aeropostale. So I would just say that. I would
Honestly, that
just say
sounds
that.
way better.
I
Yeah.
would just say that in grad school because I did undergrad back home in Puerto Rico. So grad school I did in Illinois, here in Illinois. So everyone would be like, "What the hell is Aeropostale, Goose?" And I was like, the store, that the store that smells and it has the male models on it. I don't know." And I was like, "Aeropostale." I'm like, "Oh, okay. Well, I guess I'll shut up forever
I guess
now."
I could say it the boring white way, sure.
It's like, please don't judge me. Uh, so never again. So now everyone knows it. All 10 people that listen to this. But yeah, so it reminded me at the bottom of Cheesor's Palace, and with the giant Dianoga that you had to
Mhm.
fight underwater with the jetpack and everything, which was one of the most terrifying experiences of my young life.
Yeah.
I had a very easy life, fortunately, I guess. And that was like top 10 terror in my life, fighting the giant Dianoga. So I kind of felt for the batch in that moment because I'm just like, oh shit,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel it. I was Dash Rendar. I was with you.
It was exciting to see them though, like, toss in a handful of grenades down there though. Like,
Yeah.
Wrecker was excited to do that. He was
Oh,
just waiting
definitely.
to blow something up.
He was like, finally, it's been days,
Mm.
days
It's
without
been
blowing something.
days.
Since I got to blow something up.
It's like Hunter,
Yeah.
we have a surplus
Yeah.
of
I need
bombs.
to use them now.
But
I
something from the episode though that I just remembered that is not talked about enough is that the queen herself, Angelica
Like a
Houston,
Houston. Yeah.
Yeah.
plays a queen. I mean, I don't know if she's a queen, but because she's a queen, she's a queen. God damn it! So that just this is now responsible speculation, I guess. And if you know the answer to this, blink twice. But you don't bring Morticia Adams to just be on one episode. So
Mm.
so stuff's going down as she takes a large gulp of Sprite. Uh,
I knew I recognized her voice as soon as I heard it, and I was
Yeah.
so excited to figure out who that was. But I mean, yeah, you would think to bring someone like that on. She's done Star Wars before. She did the Sith Mother in Screecher's Reach. So
Mm.
oh, that's right. I forgot about that. Yeah.
maybe they were just like, "Hey, while you're here, maybe do this other
The
voice."
other
But
two.
yeah, I don't
Crossover
know.
episode, maybe?
Maybe. But it was funny when I first saw her character, I was like, "That looks like a Baldur's Gate 3 character with the horns and
Yeah,
everything."
Yeah.
yeah. I know Chase is
Uh,
gonna love it. Uh,
yeah.
we'll see. That is Chase's picture on my phone. Is their Baldur's Gate
The
costume
character.
cosplay? When does this is a total non sequitur? When is a costume a costume and a cosplay a cosplay? Is it when it's outside of Halloween? If it's Halloween, it's a costume. If it's outside of Halloween, it's a cosplay.
Yeah, I think that's fair to say.
Okay, I can sleep at night tonight. I guess.
Yay.
Mysteries of the universe solved.
Mysteries. Stay tuned, guys. Try out of this force. We answer all your burning questions. Not about Star Wars lore, but about when you can call your costume a costume. But yeah, but I thought one of the great things that I did love about then now episode 3 was the what I was hoping for, which I didn't necessarily expect it, was that Omega and Crosshair escape
Mhm.
Mhm.
because I thought there was gonna be the prison break-in, like Hunter and Wrecker, and it was gonna take longer. But I did love that it was just like
Well,
wham bam,
actually, you
thank you, ma'am,
called
let's
it.
do it.
You called it, Goose, when we were talking about the trailer originally. You said, I call that they're actually going to rescue themselves.
Did I?
I think you did. So when I was watching, I was like, damn, Goose got something right. Because, our responsible speculation always fails. Like, we always get everything wrong. So
Three
I was like, look, it happened.
3 years of podcasting, I got one thing right.
Uh, That's
One.
a
And
good
you're so
call.
surprised
I
that you
am,
don't
yeah.
remember making the calls.
I,
either.
I absolutely purge everything I say after we record the podcast. It's just I'm a completely different person afterwards. But yeah, that was cool because now we can get to the meat and potatoes of the
Yeah.
show quicker and have because I think that's gonna be the really cool thing now. It's having Hunter and Wrecker go to Tantis to break them out, and then they get captured, because they're not there anymore. So now Omega and Crosshair have to. Well, and obviously you probably know a lot more than because now we're in the responsible speculation part instead of actually discussing the episode. But yeah, it's gonna be a whole thing. We'll discuss it at the end of the episode. Let's stick to the episode. But yeah, Shadows of Tantiss. Papa Palps is back, dope as ever with the red guard that never does anything but looks fly as fuck. Uh, so good, so good. Nala say being sketchy and being like, "Girl, you got to get out of here,
Yeah.
girl. Go run away."
She needs to
Uh,
talk faster. I was
She
like,
does.
Yeah.
spit it out, not let's say we don't have
You're
time for your
wasting time.
cadence.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm not an expert on Caminoan anatomy, but based on that long neck, I'm just gonna assume that her vocal cords are like all the way at the bottom.
It take a
Oh, yeah,
while
So
to.
the air as that comes out, it just takes a minute. So
That makes sense.
I'm gonna get
Logic.
my Daniel Jose Older gavel. It's canon.
Canon.
Canon. But yeah, how was that experience for both of you seeing Palpatine return and the return of one of the terms that I love the most from The Mandalorian season 3, Project Necromancer?
Necromancer.
Ooh, such a good evil name for
I
a
know.
project. You know, the music that starts playing when Palpatine is arriving, you're like, okay, only one person has music like
Mhm.
that.
Oh right.
It's
Yeah.
Palpatine. And I guess I was kind of shocked that he was showing up already. Like I figured Palpatine
Yeah.
wasn't gonna show up till
Mhm.
a little further into the season, but here he is coming in episode 3, and I love that Hemlock is like so excited to tell Palpatine about like everything else they have going on at
Mhm.
Mount Tantiss, and Palpatine's like, I don't care, show me the
Yeah.
clone business. Like
Yeah. That is all I care about right now.
I need to know about my stuff. I don't
He's
care
like
about
a
your stuff.
he's like a teenager showing someone like the rooms, like, "Oh, this is my rock collection," you know.
Yeah. It's like I don't care.
It's like
Yeah.
I don't care about the rest of your science.
right. I'm
Just
just
make
here
me
to do
clones.
homework. Yeah.
But yeah, when he goes into the like super secure like all the laser
20
gates
ray
that they have
shields.
to go through, I was
Yeah.
like, damn. But when he gets in there, it's so cool and creepy in that room. There's like Sith runes on the floor, and we don't get to see like what's in the vats, which is so frustrating. But
I mean, it's definitely him because the smile he gave. It's just a smile that you give yourself in the mirror. Just like
right.
look at that handsome devil. 'Cause
Look at that
before,
smooth Palpatine in there.
look at that pre melted skin. Yeah, take
Yeah.
that, Mace Windu. You can't come back from your shit. But well, maybe he can. Who knows? Based
Yeah.
on what Sam
Mhm.
Jackson said. But Nani, yeah, what was your reaction to the creepy? Well, we can't really call it a catacomb. Oh, we could. They're dead as long as they're not with midichlorians, right?
Yeah. Again,
M,
I
M
was really
count, sorry,
surprised
M
that
counts.
they did Palpatine so soon. I mean, as soon like you said, Molly, when the music shows up, I was like, yeah, Palpatine. And Husbando was like, no way, they're not doing him so early. And then there's Palpatine. And it's like, oh, okay, well, I guess I was wrong. But there was like such an aura of menace as there always is around him. But now knowing what we know about Project Necromancer, that by the way, I didn't think they were actually gonna drop the term. And when
Because
they
when they
said it,
said
it's like,
project, I'm like, say it, it's necromancer. It's
like
necromancer.
like you were saying, they did the thing.
Yeah.
So there's like I always love more when they keep things shrouded in mystery. So yeah, like you kind of know what's going on, but you don't necessarily have to see it. So even though it was frustrating to not see the vats at the same time, it's just like it just adds more mystique to it.
Mhm.
So I thought it was really well done, and especially like so early on that we already have this menace right there from episode 3 that's gonna be with us for the rest of the season and beyond, because obviously we know from the Mandalorian that this keeps happening. But yeah, I actually thought it was really well done because I feel like there's like different tones to the 3 episodes, but it's
Mhm.
kind of within the same space. So it adds to, it feels like you are in the midst of the story and, we're just getting started, but be scared already.
Yeah, we
It's
know
hit the ground running.
Project Necromancer, because it was mentioned in the Mandalorian, where you're like, that's 30 years after this.
That's
They are
exactly what I was thinking. Yeah.
they are really trying to get this project off and running, and it just
Yeah.
like they can't seem to do it. So
Yeah.
uh,
Well,
I
if you think about it, it's kind of the same time frame as the Death
Yeah.
Star, because the Death Star was being designed since Attack of the Clones. So
True.
True.
if we know
Yeah.
something from Papa Pops, he may have plans on top of plans, but
Yeah.
efficiencies and deadlines are not one of them.
Right. Yeah. It's just like their go-to backup plan. They're like, "Well, I guess we'll keep working on Project Necromancer some more." That's gotta
Yeah.
work, right?
Yeah, it's the
Yeah.
pet projects. Like, okay, well, there's some downtime.
Mm.
Just go down to the basement, to the creepy basement, which I thought was really cool that they had like all the laser doors from Phantom Menace, but
Yeah.
instead of being like beautiful Naboo chrome and bright things, it's just like opposite. It's just like corrupted
Mhm.
Naboo stuff because obviously Palpy is from Naboo, so it's just like dark
Mhm.
and evil. It's kind of like Vader's fortress to an
Mhm.
extent when you get in there. So I now like I don't want to like get ahead of myself and go into the responsible speculation portion of the episode, but like I watched that, I'm just like, so if like you were saying, Molly, if Paleon is talking about Prague Necromancer 30 years later, does that mean that then the batch destroys Mount Tantis this season, and then they have to relocate the cloning crap to Exegol? Well, not everyone knows about Exegol, but to some other location,
Mhm.
and then like there's some like there's again plants on top of plants. There's a secret cloning facility somewhere in the unknown regions, but then there's a super duper secret cloning facility in Exegol, and that's where the melty Snokes are, and then
Yeah.
the secret facility. I don't know where's what's the Palpatine clone from Shadows of the Sith? Dagon, was it?
Oh, Dathan.
Dathan. No,
Yeah.
Dagon's from Jedi Survivor.
Yeah.
Uh, where's Dathan? You know he's an Exegol. We know that. So never mind. So yeah, I love the episode. I love that there's gonna be like that that cross thing of Hunter and Rick are just going somewhere where the people that they think aren't, and then
Yeah.
Omega
Mhm.
and Crosshair aren't. And Crosshair said Omega's name for the first time in 3 seasons. Big deal.
Really?
Really?
I
Oh.
didn't believe that. I just saw it on the internet. I was like, well, sure, I'll believe the internet. But then I read it on
Aw.
StarWars.com, and I'm just like, okay, so it's true.
Really?
He loves her.
That scene when he says, "I'm not them," I was like, oh yeah.
Mm.
I was like, oh, D. Bradley, calm yourself.
Yeah.
That was you're calm down. That was first episode. That was too hard. You gotta, just wheel me into it. But that was
He
a lot
kept
of
saying
emotion.
in all those interviews that people were gonna cry this season, and we were like, "Okay, pump the brakes, man."
It's like you already
Don't do this
killed.
to us already.
You already took
Mhm.
tech from us. Don't.
I know.
Yeah. Which they Omega and Crosshair had a nice moment in regards to tech when
Yeah.
Crosshair was asking her, like, "Did he
Yeah.
teach you plan number whatever?"
Hmm.
Yeah.
And he's like,
And she's like, yeah. And he's like, of course he did.
of course
Oh,
he
I
did."
was,
That was really
oh,
sweet.
it was really sweet. It made me
I
really
was
sad though.
I was kind of in the mindset for the longest time after season 2 ended that I was like, "Tech's not dead." I was just in denial.
Me too.
Now
Yep. Hmm.
I don't know. He feels pretty dead now, but
Yeah.
I'm
Especially
still
how they
like,
open the recap, and it's just like him falling.
Yep.
Like,
yeah,
I know. But I was super in denial when the moment actually happened. I was like, there's no way. There's no
yeah,
way he's dead. He survived somehow. And then as the months and the time has been
yeah,
upcoming for this season, I've been slowly losing hope, but I'm still, a little bit really trying to grasp that
yeah.
maybe
It,
somehow.
mm,
it was
I think
painful
I'll
because
be
they did so much character development for him in season
yeah.
2 that they didn't do in season 1. That I'm just like, like at the time, you're like, why would you do that if you're just gonna take him from us? And then it's just like, oh, you did it, so it hurts.
yeah.
Like,
Yep.
it's like,
They were not afraid to go there, which I appreciate in an
True.
animated
Yeah.
show.
yeah,
Hmm.
true, true. So is Crosshair gonna fight
Especially
the
when you
dust?
think
I
that
guess.
I think it's especially telling because you kind of assume, especially when it's kids shows, that everybody has plot armor and
Yeah, yeah,
they're all gonna survive, so there's no stakes. And then you take
Mhm.
tech away, and it's like, oh, anybody's up for the chopping block. So it
Yeah.
makes you like really afraid every time there's an episode and something dangerous happening. No, no,
Yeah.
you're not
Which
taking another one from me.
that makes me scared for Crosshair now because they
Yeah.
made
Yep.
us
hmm
hate him and now
Mhm.
like him, and it's just like a roller coaster of emotion, and I know I'm
Mhm.
gonna start liking
He's got
Crosshair
that
more and
shaky
more.
shakies in the hand.
For
Mm.
sure, I know.
Yeah, and
That has me really worried.
Here's
the
what's gonna happen.
handshakes.
Here's what's gonna happen.
Okay. Uh huh.
there's gonna be a moment where he needs to, it's gonna be like a Wonder Woman. Remember Wonder Woman, the sniper, the Scottish sniper who had the PTSD and was always like couldn't take the shot. There's gonna
Mhm.
be a moment like that with Crosshair. He's gonna have the shakies, and he's not gonna be able to do it. But then like Omega or someone's gonna be like, "Hey, Crosshair, you can do this." He's like, "You're damn right, I can't." That was a bad accent. And then he does it. He does it. Takes the shot. Wins the day. Blows up Mount Tantis. But
Crosshair
do-
safe.
does a James Bond in the last? Spoiler alert! If you haven't seen the last James Bond, does the last James Bond thing, blows himself up too.
Mm.
I'm gonna call it.
No, don't have him blow himself up too.
What if he's just missing the if he doesn't have the toothpick in his mouth, he's a bad shot.
Maybe it's a nicotine toothpick.
Maybe that's the key to his really good aim, is always being able to
Get
chew on that
that man!
toothpick.
Get that man a nicotine patch. It's like, or a fume. That's the one that I see on on the YouTube now. On the ads, is the fume. It's the vaporless
Mhm.
thing for smokers. Get tech Crosshair that. He needs it. He needs it.
Yeah, needs
Uh,
something.
he needs well therapy. Just like
Yeah.
Well,
anybody and everybody in the Star Wars galaxy.
needs
He
therapy. Yeah.
he doesn't need therapy now that he's got Omega. Like, now that
That's
they're
true.
away and safe, she'll give him therapy.
But but speaking of Omega, to kind of like start wrapping things up, one of the big reveals that I mean that wasn't really a reveal because I think we were all kind of expecting that since season
Mhm.
one, since she had like her beautiful palpy haircut in season one, and we were kind of like, the force, and confirmed that she is Well, that and here's where I think the interpretation gets in, not force sensitive. They just said that she
Has
is
an M
able
account.
has
Yeah.
no, they didn't say that she has an M count. I think the way that they
That she's
phrased it is that she's
yeah.
able to receive like the M count
Yeah.
transplant,
Without degradation or yeah.
the bone marrow transplant for midichlorians, however that fucking works.
Yeah.
So I guess that's I think the discussion now. What was the reveal? Is that she can accept the M counts, that she has midichlorians, does she have the force, and will she get the force? What do you think, Molly?
I I wanted her to be force sensitive in season 1. Now I'm kind of not sure if I want that for her or not.
Yeah.
I would kind of be happy either way, but much like Andor, I'm really enjoying this kind of like boots on the ground.
Mhm.
What are the regular people of Star Wars up to?
Mhm.
How are they
Yeah.
participating in the rebellion aside from the Force, aside from the Jedi? So I would be happy either way, but I'm starting to think maybe she won't be force sensitive exactly, but maybe she has the potential to be, like the M count stuff.
What if it's a Grogu situation, like in Mando season 3? I guess. Yeah. Wait, Mando season 3 or Book of Boba Fett? Whatever. That's Lucasfilm's fault for doing what they did with Book of Boba Fett.
Yeah.
One of those Mandoverse shows where
Uh-huh.
Luke gives Grogu the choice to be Jedi Mando, and
Mm.
maybe I was gonna say Ahsoka. Jesus Christ. Maybe Omega. Ahsoka and Omega are related, and they're lesbian mothers to Rey. Anyway, that's not true, guys. Don't crucify me in the comments. She gets the choice. It's just like, oh, we can implant the M count, the midichlorians on you, so you can get the force sensitivity. But this is gonna happen, and then she's like, I know, I choose
Mhm.
my brothers or whatever the
Mm.
hell. Or it goes secret invasion way, and then she's Emilia Clarke, and she's like, no, give me that juice, and
Nah.
she just has ultimate force powers. What do you think, Natty?
I honestly have no idea because yeah, we had been toying around with the fact that she was probably force sensitive from the beginning. But like Molly, I started to really enjoy, not all the heroes have to be force sensitive and you
Hmm.
can be powerful without it. It's more relatable, especially from the way that she's been raised now by the Bad Batch and all her experiences in Camino and everything that goes with it. So I'm starting to think it's more of a I think she was one of the steps into getting a force sensitive clone, but where they're not quite there yet. And somehow she's like that transition point where maybe her blood is like the medium to be able to make it happen for somebody else, but not necessarily for herself. So I'm not sure. I just think the fact that 30 years later, the project is still kind of stuck makes me think that Omega survives this, because I feel like if they would have gotten to her, the whole project would have, had more advancement.
Mm.
So I'm gonna take it as a positive thing.
Yeah.
But I don't know where they're gonna go with it really, and I think it's too early on to tell. But I don't think, have we actually seen moments where it seems like she actually has the Force? I can't remember.
In season one, at least for me, it felt like she had
Yeah.
one of those like Leia Force moments where she's like, "I can feel it," or that's like a connection.
Mm.
Right.
Especially that scene with Crosshair when she's kind of like, "Oh, I feel what you're going through," or something like that. It felt very
Hmm.
forcey, like she's. But that could have been like, "Hey, I'm a human. I can empathize with your feelings."
Right.
Yeah.
You don't need. I guess
She's
you don't need the Force for that because we do it or try to do it as humans here without the
Yeah.
Force.
she's just really, really good at being empathetic.
Yeah.
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 So that's whatever. Fun stuff. So those are
Well,
the
and
three
honestly,
episodes
if it's done right, I think you can go either way, and it won't hurt the character, the story development. As long as it's done right. And so far, the
so
show's doing
far.
very good things.
They'll
So
they'll stick the
it's
landing, I think.
no, it really. I think one of Star Wars' uh, biggest problems, especially since the sequel trilogy, is that they don't really have a plan. Like they don't really
Hmm.
know where they're going, and they were kind of all over the place. But this seems like it's very well thought out, and every episode has a place within the whole. So if they make the huge mistake of just like suddenly giving her powers and changing the character completely because of it, would be a disservice to what they're doing. And I really doubt that they'll do that. From what we know of the season so far, I guess.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah, I concur as well. So yeah, we could be talking ad nauseum about these three episodes because there's so much to talk about. But have only so much time, so let's start just wrapping up and go into some of our responsible speculation, which we have to tread lightly because Molly
Because
knows
Molly knows.
a little bit more, or X or Y reason knows a little bit more than we do. So, but before we get into that, I just want like a quick opinion from you, Molly, since you guys did your Dark Disciple deep dive. Like I don't know what time is, a couple days ago.
Yeah.
Whatever, maybe it was 2 weeks. I'm sorry. I don't know what time is.
It was
Uh,
last week, I think.
so you did that. You read Dark Disciple. You talked about it. Obviously, we know that in the book Dark Disciple, spoiler alert, Asajj Ventress appears to bite the dust, as they say colloquially. But based on this trailer, she's back. Jar Jar Binks, Misa back. That would be awesome if she says it that way. How do you feel? Because that's a point that Nani was making, right? About how the story is tight and how they're making sure that like everything makes sense in terms of a plan. But now we kind of see the whole thing just from season one, how it's retconning the comic and the whole Kanan thing, blah blah blah, which I thought was stupid. So how do you feel about this that they're doing with Asajj and based on the books? I know that Brett Rao and Jennifer had said that they're being very cognizant of what happened in the
Mm.
book and they're acknowledging it and they're not going to contradict it. But how does that make you feel? There's always a visceral reaction to some of these things.
Retcons never really upset me. I'm always just like, half the time I'm like, what are they retconning? What's happening now? And Alex has to explain it to me, and I'm like, I don't care.
Yeah, it's fine. It's storytelling.
I care about what I'm watching at the moment.
Right.
If I read it
Yeah,
before and it changes,
yeah.
I'm like, okay, fine. I think it'll continue to happen in little ways because this canon universe of Star Wars is just so massive,
Right.
and
Yeah.
sometimes stuff like that will just happen. But anyways, Ventress. Yeah, I really liked Dark Disciple. It does appear that she dies at the end. If she wasn't dead, I would be questioning Obi-Wan and Quinlan, their ability to tell whether or not someone is dead or not. They were like, "Well, I guess she's dead. Let's dump her in this pool
And she's still alive.
on Dathomir."
Yeah.
She's like, "I'm fine."
She's like,
Yeah, she's gonna
Still
come
alive here,
crawling
people.
out of the pool like right after they leave, and she's like, "You just left me here."
I got no right back, and Dathomir's creepy.
Yeah. But because she's a Night Sister, I think that there's some wiggle room there for whether or not she was dead forever from that
Yeah.
moment. but as far as bringing her character back, I love the decision because a character like Ventress, she
Too
has
good.
so much in common with the Bad Batch. She's,
Yeah.
she's been cast away from the Jedi, from the Sith. She's tried to be a bounty hunter, and like she's done all these things, and she's kind of been cast aside by all of them. And so she has a lot in common with the Bad Batch, which I hope that they get to explore. And what we were talking about earlier, how Star Wars has this bad reputation of not showing us people getting the chance to redeem themselves and what that looks like.
Mhm.
Yeah.
We are getting a chance now if they are in fact bringing Ventress back uh, and bringing her back alive. Like we get to see what that looks like, what her redemption is going to look like, and I think that's worth telling. That's a story that we want to see.
What if
I
the end of
agree.
the and what if the last episode of the Bad Batch is just so god damn it. Omega just wakes up in Camino and it was all just a dream.
Yeah, we zoom out from a snow globe, and it
Yeah.
was all just like a little kid's dream, fever dream.
Yeah. Nani, Nani, what are your expectations now going forward? Responsibly speculating into maybe let's not talk about the next couple episodes. Let's
Yeah,
just talk as a season
because we
as a
don't know.
whole.
Just like
What
in
are you
season,
thinking?
yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's true. Like even these first 3 episodes are already tugging at our heartstrings. So I think there is going to be a lot of really emotionally impactful stuff that we're going to get to see. We're definitely going to see a lot more character development, which I'm all here for, and to see Omega grow up and to find her place among not only the Bad Batch but in the greater scheme of things, because she can't always have them as a crutch. I don't think. I think
Mhm.
something's gonna happen that she's gonna end up leaving them, I think, at some point.
Interesting.
But we'll see. I'm really excited that we got Logan back, because I've always wanted Boba Fett to show up in the Bad Batch, and now that the voice actor is here, it gives me hope that we are maybe going to get to see this and have the meeting of Alpha and Omega. So
And one of the internet sleuths discovered I think it's Omega holding the same type of blaster that Boba Fett uses,
of course.
allegedly. So
Oh, the
Yeah.
EE9.
sure.
Yeah, you know more than we do.
Okay, nerd. Okay.
And I think it'll be really cool to also get more from the Empire side to kind of see really what's going on there, as they start this hunt now for Omega, because it was so kind of funny that Hemlock is so hyper focused on this research, and he's so hyper focused that he can't see that his like golden egg was right in front of it. He's just focusing on Omega as a hostage to get Nalase to do her job, but he doesn't see the right in front of him that it's like it's her. It's you already have her, and then he had to let her go because otherwise he'd have to kill her, and then Palpatine would destroy him.
I mean,
So,
and it keeps with the themes of Star Wars, which is what Luke tells the Emperor, which is not just the Emperor's weakness, but the Empire's weakness. Your overconfidence is your weakness.
Yeah.
yeah.
Your faith in
The
your
Empire
friends
would
is your
never think that a little girl the size and age of Omega would come anywhere close to ruining their plans. And
Yep.
look what's happening.
Right, and it's the same thing. It's the same thing from Andor when that last episode 4, I think. It's like when Luthen and Andor and Cassian are escaping. Oh my god, I forgot the name of the planet. Ferrix, and they're having that conversation, and it's just like, how did you steal the Star Path, whatever unit? And he's like, I just walked in and took it. What do you mean you took it? He's like, you just walk in like you own the place. They're so fat and happy, they wouldn't expect anyone that looks like me to like spit in their food and walk in their hallway. So it's kind of the same thing now. Like she is in, and they don't even know that she's the biggest threat because they can't even imagine it. So
Yeah.
Andor, there we go, baby. Andor's the best. 2025, season 2.
Let's get
Until
an
then.
Andor Bad Batch crossover.
Well, yeah. Well, speaking of that, that's one of the things that I was also thinking, because there's so many connections also with Mando season 3. Will we get like some more, characters crossing into this, because we got Mount Tantiss? So does that mean we're going to see Captain Paleon to some extent? I don't know if Like I'm iffy on the timelines here, but is Thrawn already in the Empire at this point? So can like there we plug that in so all the heir to the Empire nerds get their satisfaction of Thrawn was on Tantis, and George Saboath or however you pronounce that, and Luke with 17 U's is there. Who knows? I think it's gonna be the interesting thing, but then Crosshair blows it up at the end, so it doesn't matter.
Mm.
But yes, we can talk ad infinitum about this show, and we will for the next couple of weeks. It's going to be like a great season, not just because the show is great, but because we have a great lineup of content creators that we just did an all-woman guest schedule to respond to some of the allegations on the internet that women don't
Star
watch
Wars isn't for Star
Wars. So I'm just like, okay, challenge accepted, and it was very easy challenge to meet. So thank you, Molly, for kicking off the season with us and having like a spirited conversation as always.
Thank you guys so much for having me. I love that you're doing all women for this show. That's amazing.
It's gonna be great. It's gonna be great.
Very excited.
We're all about DEI. And actually, we're Jedi here: justice, equity, diversity, and inclusion. Why don't you tell us a little bit of what Star Wars Explain has going on, and if you got any like future stuff planned, so that people who don't surprisingly might not know are plugged into.
Yeah, so you can find us over on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Threads, Blue Sky, pretty much all the social medias at Star Wars Explained. And we are also covering the Bad Batch, believe it or not.
What?
Shocking.
We're competing? What?
Well, we don't compete with them.
No.
Oh, this is all friends don't compete.
Yeah.
We'll lift
Yeah.
each other up.
Yeah.
We're just doing our reviews, and we're doing live streams every Wednesday evening at 6 p.m. Eastern time, chit-chatting all about the Bad Batch. So check those out.
Yeah, that's great. And we'll leave, as always, links down below so that everyone can find your content. It's amazing content. So if you haven't, stop living under a rock and please check out Alex and Molly. They're amazing. Some of the best people in this fandom.
Oh, thank you.
Both talking about Star Wars and outside of that, I might add. So yeah, but yeah, I don't know. Nani, did you have anything else before you doing our beautiful sign off?
No, I think we're done. I thank you so much, Molly, for joining us, especially on these first 3 episodes. We're so excited about this. And yeah, it was a really good conversation. So we thank you every single time that you come over here to the Triad.
Of course. Yeah, it's always a good time.
What about you, Goose?
No, I'm good. I'm good.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay, so time to sign off. We are Triad of the Force. Remember to like, subscribe, leave a comment. Let us know what you're thinking about the Bad Batch so far. Thank you again, Molly. Look forward to episodes released every Friday where we continue to discuss this show. Like Goose said, it's going to be all women content creators that we're going to have here that as we talk about, because Star Wars is for women. Okay?
I'm going to be the only sour spot on that side. So sorry, guys.
You're fine. We started this podcast together, so you're excused.
That's true. That's true.
So until next time, may the Force be with you.